abstinence works. And I am proof of that. And you are proof of that. And I was an opiate user. I love drugs. I love opiates. You know what I mean? If I could use opiates for the rest of my life, I would totally do it. And the thing is that it's you're absolutely right. It's giving people an excuse, a backdoor to go, you know, I'm never going to get clean. They told me I'm never going to get clean. The person of the health, the czar of health in BC, who is a doctor, is telling me it won't work. So why should I even try?
Don't Hide the Scars, a weekly podcast focused on addiction and recovery. Created by the nonprofit PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need, and founded by Flindt Andersen.
Alexis Root, thank you for joining. Founder of Parents and Addicts in Need, Flindt Andersen, and myself, Jason LaChance, on Don't Hide the Scars.
Welcome.
Thanks. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Boy. Well, geez, you and I have known each other about a year. We got all kinds of stuff we're going to get into, everything from the struggle during the holidays and all over the place. But let's start harm reduction, because you're very active where you're at in Vancouver with really trying to educate, and you've seen how the politicians have screwed it up, for lack of a better wording.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm from Vancouver. Our downtown east side is comparable to the Skid Row in LA. It is a, hyper, it's a hyper zone. Let me just turn, I can hear, I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it. I am so sorry. Edit that out. No, just kidding. Okay. So, in Vancouver, we have an opioid crisis. We have had one for a long time. Back in the early 2000s, we had about 100 overdose deaths, and that was considered to be massive. Right. So what they did is they implemented a 4-pillar approach. So what that is treatment, it's prevention, it's harm reduction, and enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what if that was implemented all 4 of those, it would probably be successful. Sure. However, what happened is, when we get these nonprofits going, they get funded federally and provincially, right? So, or by the state. They get funded and they get grants and they get money. And so what happens is, in order for you to hire people on and to keep getting funding, you need clients. You need people accessing those services. So you don't make money off of people getting well. You make money off of people staying sick. Mm-hmm. So what they've done is gone towards a harm reduction only approach, which means safe supply that they entered into in COVID, which means safe injection sites, which means DRTs, so OAT, right? So opiate replacement therapy. So if you right now have an opiate addiction, say you've got a 16-year-old, I've got kids, right? And now we know that, the gateway drug isn't like, you used to like smoke weed and then you'd move on to psychedelics and then you'd maybe try out alcohol, move on to powders or whatever. But now it's like weed, fentanyl. It's just how it goes. Right. So what happens? So you've got a 16-year-old kid who's been on opiates for 6 months. I don't know. Right. And the kid goes, I want to get clean. You cannot just go in and detox from opiates. You are mandated a taper of drug replacement therapy, so Suboxone or methadose or methadone.
Actually mandated?
You cannot go into detox unless you sign an agreement to do a taper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for treatment centers, in order for them to get funding to bring people in from welfare, they need to offer Suboxone and drug replacement therapy as well. Now, the way some people are doing it are doing a massive, really quick doctor oversee taper. So like 1 week, get off it, right? Sure. But others are keeping them on for the entire treatment stay. And so you've got this kid who's 16 using the drugs for 6 months. And what are they going to do? Now they have to do a 2-3 year taper.
Yeah.
And while for a drug that's still a drug, Suboxone is still a drug.
Yeah.
Methadone is still a drug. It's a drug. It's still an opiate. Like the methadone is an opiate.
Yeah.
They use it for pain treatment.
Right.
So now they're going to try to get through grade 12 while they're on the drug replacement therapy and prolong their using by 3 years when they've only been on it for 6 months is absolutely insane. They've decriminalized drugs up here. So now that the drugs are decriminalized, but they didn't put anything in motion for after that decriminalization. Right, so the decriminalization is in there. Now police are glorified social workers. So they're walking around the streets. They can't do anything.
Right.
And there's no treatment past the decriminalization. So it's just a bunch of lawlessness. You just walk around and use dope. And Bonnie Henry, and I'm not going to directly quote this because I'm going to get this wrong, but Bonnie Henry, who is Adrian Dix and Bonnie Henry managed the BC Health, in British Columbia. And Bonnie Henry made a statement saying that abstinence is not an option for opiate users. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
What? Are you kidding me?
That's the hot button I was waiting for you to get on.
Google the Bonnie Henry quote. I can't right now because I'm on my phone. But if
how do you spell this name?
So Bonnie Henry, like Alexis was saying, is I would look at her like the czar of the behavioral health in Canada. And so I had just
British Columbia.
Sorry. I had just met our mutual friend that you introduced, Giuseppe, and he had filled me in on this and sent me that quote. So it's this.
It's not I'm pissed.
Yeah. So
it doesn't work. She's telling opiate users that do not even try abstinence-based recovery because it won't work for you.
When you tell an opioid addict that is music to our ears.
No doubt.
That's music to our ears. It's like fan-fucking-tastic. Okay, now I don't have to get clean. I never have to get clean. I've got a lifetime supply of drugs coming my way, and they're not even going to check me if I'm using both Suboxone and heroin and fentanyl and Vicodin or whatever the case may be, because that's what we do. We bounce back and forth between the two.
Well, you're taking the safe supply and then you're doubling it and you're selling it and then you're buying fentanyl off the street, which now, so now those 100 drug use, those 100 overdose in a year, right? Now we're seeing double that in a month.
Yeah.
So we're having like 1,600 overdose in a year. And you're trying to tell me that works?
Yeah.
Right.
It's about money. It's about keeping the big pharma happy. Yeah. It's about the kickbacks from the Suboxone to the doctors. Oh, yeah. It's about keeping these nonprofits going so they can keep the funding going, so they can keep the funding from the federal coming, so that they can keep money flowing, keep people sick, and not actually get people better. And in fact, abstinence works, and I am proof of that, and you are proof of that. And I was an opiate user. I love drugs. I love opiates. You know what I mean? If I could have opiates for the rest of my life, I would totally do it. And the thing is that it's you're absolutely right. It's giving people an excuse, a backdoor to go, I'm never going to get clean. They told me I'm never going to get clean. The minute the person of the health, the czar of health in BC, who is a doctor, is telling me it won't work. So why should I even try?
New Perceptions North, the premier drug and alcohol treatment and recovery center in Central California. A full continuum of medically supervised, top-quality care with programs for detox, inpatient residential treatment with dual diagnosis, intensive outpatient treatment, sober living, support groups, and more. With 50-plus years of combined experience and sobriety, Flindt, Andersen, and Thelma Gatlin Wilson provide adult men and women with the highest caliber of professional health care, treating each client with compassion and respect, and a safe, comfortable environment to begin the process of recovery. To proudly create and sustain a life without addiction, call 559-978-1507 or visit newperceptionsnorth.com.
And I can almost guarantee it. Our government is going to hear that, and they're going to go down the same damn road here.
Yeah.
That's almost inevitable.
They're going to do the same thing that happened up there. They're going to go, wow, Portugal did this really awesome job. Let's model what they're doing. And they're going to screw it up. They're going to blatantly screw it up without actually looking at the whole of what was done. Like you said, I mean, you've studied it more closely than I have. But there's a reason, it's not like in Portugal, you can just go shoot up on the streets. You can't. They'll get you, they'll take you in, but they're not going to take you to jail. They're going to take you to treatment.
And if you don't do treatment, guess where you go? Jail. Yeah. So it's like a step in the process to be like, okay, and they get employment services going. So it's not just treatment, it's treatment for the families, because we know this is a family disease. It's treatment for the families, and it's also destigmatizing it for the family, because we know that people are, I don't want to actually talk about Jimmy that's going to treatment, right? So it's a destigmatization for the families so that we can start talking about this, and then it's getting them employed and having them have to go, like a probation, have to go to work to make the money, to build the foundation, to get some time in, so that then they start building some self-esteem and some self-worth, because we know that self-esteem and self-worth doesn't come on day one, right? It comes later down the road. So by just being, we're just going to decriminalize it and offer safe supply because we don't want people dying, we're killing people. And there's a documentary that's called Vancouver is Dying, and it's fabulous, and it's on YouTube. And there's also one called Seattle is Dying, because this is and you guys are from California, like you're on the Pacific Coast, you know that this is a coast issue. This is a port issue. This is happening in Seattle, San Francisco, the book San Francisco, right? San Francisco is a mess. Right? Like it's all down the coast. And if we don't get a grip on this now, you wait, because in 10 years, it's 10x, wait another 10 years.
Yeah. You know, Alexa, look, I've been around a long time, and the fact is, well, first of all, I want to ask this: is anybody in your area, anybody questioning this lady? Is anybody throwing this back in her face, saying, hey, asswipe, okay, how stupid are you?
Yeah, we have a movement. We do Recovery Day in BC. We work with MPs. We work with the abstinence-based recovery is working. However, the government doesn't support hearing that voice, right? We had a roundtable maybe 8 years ago with Mayor Gregor Robertson, and he was the mayor at the time. We've had a bunch since then, but I was a part of that. You could just go. He opened it up, and he had a bunch of speakers there, and then he had people from the general public coming in, and we were sort of trying to figure out what to do with this quote unquote problem, right? What are we going to do here? And he invited MAD, so Mothers Against Drunk Driving. He invited the Safe Supply. He invited the Safe Injection Sites. He invited the VPD. He invited the government. He invited everybody. You know who he didn't invite as a speaker? He didn't invite one abstinence-based program. And what the last mayor was doing was the last mayor who just got out, and we have a brand new mayor, and I'm really hoping that this guy hears us, is the last one was trying to defund the police.
Right.
Right? It's just nutty. It's just nutty. So now I think the pendulum has swung a little bit. Hopefully we'll see what happens. But the police at that time came up, the VPD came up and spoke at the chief and said, and he was the one that said it, you have everyone here except for abstinence. Why don't you have abstinence here? That's a valid option. And it's just, it doesn't make money.
It's amazing. A lot of these governments, they will not allow, or they never invite people that are in recovery in to speak at these things.
Well, they look at it like it's like we are the exception, not the rule, and that's not the case. And the thing for me, being in a 12-step fellowship, is we're taught to keep it quiet. We're taught for traditions to keep it quiet and not to talk about it. At least, I've been going to recovery meetings since I was 17, and I'm 40. So, we need to be speaking out loud. We need to recover out loud. And this is why podcasts like this are so important, and people talking about their sobriety and their experience, their strength, their hope, everything really out loud. it is so critical in order to change policy, because if we stay silent, they want us to stay silent.
Yeah,
Sure.
but but the problem is, and the problem with this is that we always wait. I don't care if it's Canada or if it's the United States or Timbuktu. We always wait till the last minute. We always wait till we're neck deep in the middle of something before we try to affect any change. And again, I'll just use me as the example. I've been talking about this for over 10 years. And it's taken, 14 years. It's taken 13 years to get to this point. Look, 13 years from now, look, you two are the ones that are going to be in this. 13 years from now, I'm going to be dead. Okay. You
don't know that.
But maybe, but you two are the ones that are going to be neck deep in this battle. And I almost feel bad for you, because I don't see this stuff changing. I see it going towards what you guys are doing in British Columbia. I see the United States following suit, and you guys and everybody else at your age are in for a world of shit here.
Yeah.
When it comes to all this stuff, and unless you can get something changed, I just don't know how we're going to do it.
There has to be a real wake up for everybody on a lot of this, and because I'm a fan, I'm going to use him as an example. So Alexis, our governor here in California, he was on Adam Carolla's podcast, and Adam was grilling him perfectly. And they were talking about the face of homelessness, and Adam Carolla was talking about the mentally ill and the drug addict. And he goes, Gavin Newsom, no. I don't see that. Really? Okay, who is it? And he goes, it's the single mother of 3. And I thought about this for a long time. And I think about it with the people that this is the harm reduction policy, which you guys are having, which we're starting to see signs of, is single mother of 3 is registered to vote. I guarantee you that homeless person on the street, the mentally ill addict combination, they do not.
Right.
And that in turn goes back to money.
Well, it's really easy to blame it on single moms. It's also easy to blame the prison, how many people are in prison on single moms. And it's really easy to and whatever. It's not single parents. It's addiction. It's people that are getting free checks from the government to do nothing and use drugs. And it's real nice in California when it's nice and sunny and they're getting all these services. Yep. It's easy to keep people homeless. And then you've got these tent cities. We had an officer stabbed in the neck and killed 2 months ago in BC doing a wellness check in a tent city. And then they go, well, how many police officers are killing the homeless? Get out of here.
Get out of here.
It's these progressive right-wing encampment activists that are very loud, and we could take a note from them. By the way, they're very loud and aggressive in the way that they are active in the community and getting their point across. The problem is that nobody wants to piss them off, so everybody just lets them do whatever they want to do, and then the rest of Vancouver is either nobody can walk downtown. You talk about me in 20 years. I worry about my 17-year-old daughter in 20 years who is going to, she's got accepted to university and she wants to get a Bachelor of Social Work. And I'm like, please don't. Please, I don't want you working in that, because I don't know what it's going to be like. And then I don't want the repercussion. I mean, we need good people. And she has seen what I've gone through, and that's her motivation to help other people and, being a kid of the system and blah, blah, blah. But I worry about her. I worry about what she's going to be working with. It's just nuts. It's just nuts. And, you're not going to get on top of it by placating people.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but people want that. They want that. It's nice. It feels good to just simply be placated, as opposed to leadership that calls to people to be a part of the solution, as opposed to going, elect me, I'm the solution. And I don't know. When did we got away from that? 80s, in the late 80s, I'm guessing, here in the United States, where I started to see more of that.
Right. And I wonder too, the people that are out there that kind of started this whole harm reduction movement, even the ones that how do I put this? Even the ones that don't agree with safe injection sites, they don't agree with some of the philosophies of the total absurdity of harm reduction. But I'm wondering how much they think that the damage they're doing by even talking about the harm reduction. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think that we are killing people through altruism. And it is, we're just going to help everybody to death. And you know what? I was almost helped. Like my parents, I think I told Jason this before. My parents, when I was 17 years old, they read this book by Colin Powell. And I swear Colin Powell ruined my life because he's the one that brought in the tough love, right? Tough love. Yeah. And, you know, I was a 17-year-old kid that moved out on their own that needed help for this and this and this. And my parents were like, go to treatment or get fucked, really. Like that was how it was, right? And it was hard for them. And as a parent now, I think like, oh my God, I couldn't, how would I, you know, but you have to do that. And so that's what we're doing. We're enabling we're enabling this community to death through our altruism where we feel really good about ourselves. And it's not helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I choose to, when I do my own charity work and stuff, I choose to help people that are seeking abstinence-based recovery, because also once you notice this, there's tons of services for people that are using, but then you get clean and then it's like, oh, pull up your bootstraps and get your shit together and go out there and be a member of society. Like, okay. So
what's next?
I choose to help people that are in recovery seeking that. And that's not to say there's not a place for harm reduction. There is, but it's not 100%, right? Yeah. Right. It's the stepping stone.
Right. Yeah. And I think that it's just the methods and things that we're seeing, whereas I'll speak for myself, but I believe you're not against it either. But in this iteration, yes. Yeah. What is wrong with abstinence at the end of the day? Let's move people there. Let's meet them where they're at. But let's move them there.
Move them towards abstinence. But look, if harm reduction, methadone, Suboxone, whatever, if that's going to keep the 60-year-old street person off fentanyl, off the needle, then I don't have a problem with that. What I have a serious problem with is that 18-year-old to even 50-year-old that we are going to strap people for the rest of their lives to two substances that you better have with you, or you can't go on vacation. If you forget your shit, okay, you're in trouble, right? Why would we strap a 25-year-old to this mess? I just don't get it. I'm sorry. I just don't get it.
I got clean because I was stuck in a 2-block radius and I didn't get clean to stay in that 2-block radius. You know, like in 2019 before COVID, I traveled 26 times on a plane. 26 times. And I've got 4 kids. That means week on, week off. Every week I didn't have my kids. I was in Phoenix. I was in LA. I was in Mexico. I was I was somewhere. And that is freedom for me. And I can do what I want, when I want, how I want, if my sponsor tells me I can. But I don't, like this whole sense of like, oh, let's keep someone sick. No, let's give them the freedom that abstinence brings. Let's give them the freedom to go and dream and do whatever they want to do, because I had that gift given to me that I can do whatever I want to do. And then I can give those to my kids. And I'll tell you what, like they have bigger dreams than I would have. She has a 95% grade point average. That comes from the principles that recovery has taught me that I've taught her, or even, just for her being in the room. So, yeah.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, please call Parents and Addicts in Need at 559-579-1551 or check us out online at painnonprofit.org. Follow us on social media at Pain Nonprofit. Please subscribe to the podcast and share with others wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. To donate, please click the link in the description and help us save more lives gripped by addiction.
Wow, you guys got a mess up there. We got a mess down here. I mean, it's just messy everywhere. And like I said, I just don't know how we're gonna get ourselves out of this mess. It truly bothers me every single day. I mean, I was telling Jason earlier, I mean, I'm up last night sitting outside, you know, trying to figure this stuff out. What more can we do? How we can circumvent things, how we can get the more politicians involved. And again, I don't mean to be the downer side to things here, but I'm just not seeing it. I'm seeing a lot of movement still towards awareness, which we're so far past at this point.
We're pretty aware. When
right?
Macklemore is singing about it, we're pretty aware, you know?
Right. But what's it going to take to get, I mean, seriously, does one of Newsom's kids have to die? Does one of Biden's kids have to die? Before anything?
I mean, did that happen?
Well, close. Okay. I don't know. The laptop, we're not going to get into that area.
Yeah. Socially killed. Yeah, I think really what needs to happen is that people that are active in the recovery community need to stop arguing with each other about what's the right pathway to recovery. We need to mobilize together and band together. I know up here it's like, well, this treatment center and this treatment center and this treatment center is better and this and this and this. Maybe start getting together and do work together and collaborate so that and that's what we do at Recovery Day up here. There was 20,000 people that showed up to Recovery Day, where we had what I don't know who you guys would even know, but we've had like Matthew Good band, all these different bands that played up here, and we had a big concert, and all these people showed up, and most of those people were not people in recovery, but everybody has recovery touched them in some addiction touches everyone in some way or another. So if we can stop fighting amongst each other, get together as one group, and then mobilize, I think that's the way. We need to stop this here first.
Well, look, we have the same problem right here in Fresno, California. And we've had it. So back in 2009, when I started this thing, that was one of my first goals, was to bring the few treatment centers we had here together. Everybody nobody wanted to do it. Everybody was worried about somebody taking somebody else's client away. Right.
Money.
And so after about 5 years of doing that, I just kind of slowly went in my direction because I'm doing something different than anybody else was doing. So, and this is going to really sound bad. I may get letters for this one. Okay. But when I see, whether it's in Canada, whether it's here, when I see, for example, a group of people that are in recovery that are gathering in large groups, I think that our government, I can't speak on yours, but I think our government sees that as a bunch of uneducated, some addicts, some in recovery, but a bunch of uneducated idiots, okay, sitting out there protesting, showing signs, doing whatever, and our government is not going to deal with those people.
Totally. It's not a protest, it's a party. It's we have a kids zone, we have food trucks, and we invite the government down. And then they come and they go on stage and they make their little, we really appreciate you, keep your recovery going, and then nothing happens. It's just, it's a nice little platform for them to come on and say what they need to say to get that vote and then move along. So a lot more people are going to have to die, I think, is what's going to end up happening. And I think you're right. I think people in power, their family members need to pass away in order for something to happen. And it's really sad.
Well, we're at over 110,000 is the estimate in the United States for last year. I mean, how many more do we need? We are so pissed off about COVID, which not making light of people that got sick, the elderly primarily, and it's unfortunate. It sucks. But come on, guys, like, why isn't this prevalent on the news in the way that it was for COVID?
Right.
Because it's not as fancy, and it doesn't, and you're getting rid of the population that you don't want to deal with. Right?
Yeah.
You want grandma and grandpa there. You don't want the addicts there. It's like, oh, this is kind of nice, wiping out the population. It's like population control. It's like we're getting rid of the problem. Look at that movie with Michael Keaton. It was on Disney Plus. What was it called?
Dope Sick on Hulu,
Dope
the TV
Sick.
show.
Yeah. So at the end of Dope Sick, okay, and he's driving the person to the tree. He talks to the person in the 12-step program, and it's dark, and the music is, and they're like, no, that doesn't work. And then they're driving to the Suboxone clinic, and it's airy, and it's it's like nice music. The narrative to the regular Joe Blow is that works. This is what's going to, right? So it's like, we have to change it in the media. We have to change it in so many different areas. It's not, Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think about that scene in that regard. Good, very valid point.
Great point.
That they made it look dark and grisly and like
those bad AA people.
Yeah, some of the most fun I've had and nutty people that I just love.
Yeah,
and I mean it in a good way where we don't end up in handcuffs at the end of the night. Has been through sobriety. It's like it's not a dark time. It's like some of the stories and just characters. It's the best, man.
Well, we do have an assemblyman here named Jim Patterson, who's a dear friend of ours, and this is a man that is actually doing something in Sacramento and trying to do it. But the problem there is that Jim is a Republican, and we've got such a Democratic system here that he really can't get anything going. He's busting his butt, trying to do it, and he's not stopping, which I just give him all the credit in the world for. But I just don't understand how. I mean, I went with Jim, this is a few years ago, just to propose a couple of bills for to increase jail sentences for drug dealers of fentanyl and carfentanil, and we were shot down in less than 30 minutes. We didn't even make it out of committee. Because these people just didn't get it. It's too expensive. We can't afford to put people in jail any longer for a simple drug charge. And I'm sitting there going, this is
making it a murder charge.
It's murder. Okay. I mean, and one assembly person literally had the balls to say this. They looked at me and they go, not every drug dealer is evil, are they? I swear to God, I looked at this assemblyman and I said, sir, that is the definition of evil. I said, they know exactly what they're giving their client.
Yeah.
That's the mentality of politicians, though. I mean,
and it's no different up here.
Yeah. Well, in fentanyl, what was it when was Julian was talking about it? We podcast we had just released. He's talking about as a fentanyl addict, he looked up what the overdose amount was and pushed it right up to the level, fully knowing that it is poison, but he had to take it there. And again, it's poison, people. Thus, like you said, Alexis, how about we charge them for murder? Right. It's poison. And when they're getting these pills, like they are up there, like they are all over the world now, where they don't know how much is in there and it's over that amount, that is a poisoning. You have poisoned someone.
Yep. Intentionally.
And then you're weighing that on a scale, taking it off, not cleaning it, throwing weed on there, weighing that, putting that in bags, have the fentanyl on the weed, give that to a 15-year-old kid, and then they die. Cool. Right. You want to go look at their parents? You want to tell their parents that's not a murder charge?
Right.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dated this doctor for about 2 minutes, but anyway, so I went on a couple of days with this doctor dude, not my type. But he was in the ICU at Vancouver General Hospital, and he said to me, he goes, "Yeah, it's not people that are addicted that are dying from this; it's people that are not addicted that are using this on a recreational basis that are dying from this." An entire wedding party went to do coke in the bathroom, and only one survived.
Wow.
Yeah. Entire wedding groom party, the groomsmen. And then 13-year-old kid bought weed for the first time. Dead.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Everybody's talking about the accidental side to this.
Right.
Okay. And I get it. But you are either stupid or have your head in the sand. All right. If you haven't heard the fact that fentanyl is being laced on cocaine.
Totally.
You are either stupid or brain dead if you haven't heard, okay, that fentanyl is being laced on everything and that there are M30 pills out there. So one of my points here is that these kids, they know exactly what they're taking. And they're still willing to take the chance.
Well, here's the thing. Here, as a parent of a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old, my 15-year-old, God bless his soul, he isn't that bright. All right. He isn't that bright. My daughter, she doesn't drink, she doesn't do it. Right. My son, he's wearing these extra large baggy sweatpants. He's 6'1", 128 pounds because he's 15 and hasn't filled out yet. He's wearing these extra large and he bends over and a vape falls out of his right in front of me. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, you're an idiot. I was like, thank you very much. Put that in my pocket. Then he's like, what are you doing with that? What do you think I'm doing with that? He does it. He's not that bright. And when I was 15, I was using a lot of drugs and I had an idea that I would never, like this invincible, I will never die immortal. So I put more weight on a grown adult that's like 25 that's taking the stuff that knows at the bar so that you can sober up a little bit to drink some more to whatever, right?
Right.
Than a 15-year-old kid. These kids, and then what happens is these like the police officers come in with their little briefcase and they show them what the drugs look like. They all know what it looks like. They're get out of here. Like there needs to be, and this is why like these panels of abstinence from 12-step programs, I think are really important in the high schools. They do them up here where a panel from NA will come in and we try to get people that are like 20, 21 that are coming in that are clean young to go or they've gone through a youth program and talk about it there because my son, if one person said to him, here, smoke this joint, I don't think he'd ask where it came from, even knowing that his mom is an ex-opiate addict and his dad is an ex-opiate addict. Like he's just, God bless him, but he's a 15-year-old kid. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. I do think he's bright. I don't want to put him down. But his friends are idiots.
No, it's common sense that they're idiots right now. Okay. Because again, they're 15. They're supposed to be that way. You know, that's exactly it. My kids were idiots too at 15. I mean,
what do you mean? You and I were idiots at 15.
Absolutely. I was the biggest idiot of them all.
So I just think we need to be, I think going back to the point of like murder charges. And like, let's get these parents of the kids who have died from this to be talking about it on the news, because that's the other thing. We don't talk about this stuff on mainstream media because it's not pretty. And it's,
one of my things that I wanted to do, this is a few years back, and I was talking to the news people around here about it. I would love, this is especially when doctor shopping was the big thing. I wanted to print in the newspaper because those records are out there. I wanted to find out how many doctors were overprescribing, and you list that weekly in the local newspaper. Dr. Jones over here, he dispensed 7,422 10 milligram Norco. This doctor dispensed X amount here. So you see the numbers on there, and then you're going to go, holy shit. Okay.
And now I know where to go get my dope from.
And well, of course. Okay. Of course. And I also thought that we needed to start printing every day the number of deaths.
Yeah.
Because that would have given people an idea of what was going on. And
we did that with COVID.
Of course we did it with COVID, because hospitals were getting paid for it. Are hospitals getting paid for overdose deaths? I don't think so. Yeah. But
should we start paying them?
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know.
We pay them to give out the fentanyl. We're going to pay them for the deaths too.
Right. Jeez. But it's just like speaking in the schools though, because we've done it for years, but you have to go in 2, 3, 4 times a year, because if you go in once a year, it's over their head in 15 minutes. And that kid is on to the next thing. You're going to get your message across to some of the kids. All right. But for the most part, they're down the road after 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's a holiday season, so let's shift to cheeriness, huh?
Yeah.
You got your lovely tree in your background there.
I do. Yeah.
Super mom that
there's
you
a bunch
are.
of toys there in front of there too. Yeah. So holidays are really hard. I don't know. For me, like I was in treatment over the holidays one year, having kids. It's like you don't want to stay in treatment. You have all this shame and guilt, and you want to be home with them because on Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate, because of some social responsibility that we feel to be there or whatever. And in reality, the biggest gift that we can give our families and kids is sobriety, right?
Yep.
Is staying in treatment and staying clean. And there's a lot of kids that just don't understand why mom or dad is in treatment over the holidays, right? I mean, as they get older, yeah, they get it. But a 5, 6, 7-year-old doesn't really understand. Plus, during the holidays, it's like that gloomy time of December. I don't know. I know you guys are. I'm laughing because you guys are in California. It's sunny all the time down there.
It's gloomy where we're at.
It's gloomy. It's cold.
Yeah, this isn't Disneyland
Right,
area.
right. We're not next to the beach.
Yeah. But in Canada it's really cold, right? And so there's also this like seasonal depression that happens around this time and all that good stuff. So what I decided to do back in 2013 is my family loves to give my kids gifts that they don't like. They just don't think, and they just send, aunt whoever is sending Play-Doh, and my kids haven't played with Play. So I had all these toys and I didn't know what to do with them. Also, during the Christmas or holiday season, we typically support women. Yeah. Women get a lot. Men, single dads don't really get that. Yeah. And when someone's in treatment, they, are usually either they're on a welfare bed, so they're getting $90 a month to live off of up here. This is just where I'm from. Or they are, maybe losing an income from a household, right? Like it's really difficult to find treatment that's free unless you're on welfare. So you're paying like $20,000, $30,000 for this treatment, plus you're losing an income. It's really expensive. And then you've got Christmas for these kids. I checked into some Christmas bureaus at the time, and I was like, hey, can we like help out some of these families that are in treatment? And they can't because they're technically not living with their kid. So, which presents a problem, right? Like you want them to stay in treatment, but you can't get services if you're in treatment and not living with your kid. So what I did is I phoned a men's treatment center, and I actually phoned Giuseppe, and I said, hey, G, like, can I have these toys? Can I come by? Yeah, no problem. Drop them off. We'll use them. So then I thought, okay, well, what about the other kids that are there? And so I reached out to some moms groups on Facebook when Facebook was cool back then. And I said, hey, like, I need some help. These are the kids. These are their wish lists. These are their age. This is the gender they identify with. Like, can we help out? And I got that entire treatment center's kids filled and more. So I did it very accidentally. We're in our 9th year. This was not a planned thing. I didn't mean to do this. But I have a really hard time at Christmas, even to this day. I don't know if it's because of my own mental illness or like seasonal depression or just like a lot of pressure from like society to like for my own kids to like bring them it's just stressful. So what this has done for me is like really deflect on what's going on in my life and distract me, and give me a mission and some purpose during this time of year so that I can personally get through it clean. And this is our 9th year doing Recovery Kids with the Z, a Z in Canada. And I'm really proud of it. There's one center that we brought on two years after in 2015. It's a women's center on the downtown east side who houses females and their babies for up to a year after the babies have been born addicted. And then they give them education. They give them access to, free education and employment skills, and then send them into, they can work while they're there at a certain time. And they really take care of the babies, and they have daycare there while the parents work, mothers work. And so we help them out. We help out, now we help out 9 treatment centers, and that's just the center. And as you know, some centers have like 7 houses, right? And so we help out all of them in their extended programs. So this year we're helping 400 kids. Nice. We just had, we brought on the North Shore Girls Soccer Club, which is the North Van Soccer Club. It's for girls. They raised $2,000 in gift certificates this year for us. Like, now we're reaching out to different community. Before, it was just like really in the 12-step community and the treatment sort of alumni that we would access the gifts from. But now we have my school's PAC, the Parent Advisory Council, has brought us on. The Morgan Creek PAC brought us on. Like, there are so many people that addiction touches that we don't think about. And so, I'm really proud to say that we bring on community organizations to help us out that aren't affiliated with recovery, which spreads more awareness.
Nice.
Yeah. No, it is a hard time of the year, and I'm not sure how I'll feel this year. Last year was all right. Flindt, I know you've been, longer term, but there was some usage. Like, what are some tips maybe that you have to lend to people?
Look, the holidays can be either extremely joyous or just like, or not. And for those of us in recovery, my suggestion is, one, just slow it all down. Slow everything down as much as you can. Take some time for yourself. Seriously. I do my shopping late, sometimes at night. So I'm not busting my ass.
Well, not like late in the year, like late at night, like not close to, not like December 24th.
Right. No,
I was gonna go. You're such a man.
No. But no, more. Look, the holidays have always affected me in a lot of different ways, especially Thanksgiving. All right. That is not a good time of the year for me. Christmas is a little bit better, but I almost now look at it as it's my family's not seeing me in the old days. Okay. Now when they see me, it is joyous, but I always make sure during the holidays that I'm always seen by everybody. I never go into a back room. I never go down to a bathroom that's down the hall somewhere without somebody knowing where I'm going, because all those memories of me passing out during the holidays in a back bathroom or in a back bedroom somewhere, still brings back some pretty traumatic stuff for me. But again, my biggest suggestion is just slow it down. And if you don't get to everything, you don't get to everything. It's not the end of the world here. Your family would rather see you happy, healthy, and sober. All right. Then them give a damn about some present you forgot to get.
Yeah.
Seriously. Well, and I think that, your trauma of being passed out in a back bedroom is also the trauma of your family, of you being, passed out in the back bedroom. So, I mean, so much too. She always tells me, like, there's always a way out. Just remember, there's always an exit plan. There's always an exit strategy. Make sure that you have the phone number that you can call, or, you don't have to stay anywhere that you don't feel comfortable. Right. That's really helped me. And then, it's okay to not be okay. Like, I think during this time, I know for me, I feel like I have to put on this great big show as a mom and make sure, and so I have to, I take the traditions of my own mother that was very extravagant on, that I now have to carry on because of some shame or guilt if I don't. Right. So I think, like, creating my own memories, my own stuff, that I don't have to do everything.
Right.
You know, and that it's okay for my kids to see me not okay. I don't have to put on a show and to talk about it. So if I'm feeling down or I'm feeling disconnected or I feel especially lonely sometimes. I think especially being a single mom and my kids are in bed and it's 8 o'clock at night and or 9 or whatever, and now I'm throwing on a Hallmark movie and I'm crying because I'm single and my life isn't what I thought it would be at 40. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like being able to talk about that I'm not alone. Like I when I got clean, I realized like I'm never alone. And so reaching out and talking about it with the people around me really helps me. And then finding people that are on social media. Like social media it's a curse and it's a gift, right? So like finding people that I find inspiration through and like really focusing on that. Yeah
Stay connected.
Stay connected
all the time.
And do service. Like that's why I do this shit, because it's not because like it's super fun for me. Like service for me isn't like it's not it's very selfish in a way, right? Like my service is very selfish because I do it because it feels good and sometimes it doesn't, but it helps me stay clean. It helps me get through the day. It gives me a purpose in the day. And then I'm not focused on my own thoughts that are just over and over and over again.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Alexis, if people want to connect to you, find out about, man, I don't even know all the organizations you're working with now. Sounds like you've added about another dozen since we last spoke. Just easiest way maybe to get a hold of you if they wish to contact you or find out more.
I'm on TikTok now at Alexis Nicole Official and Alexis Nicole Official on Instagram. And then the organization is recoverykids.com. But yeah, you can reach out to me on Instagram or TikTok. Very often I get banned on TikTok for stuff. Like I can't comment back or message back because I talk about stuff that like this, and then people are like, oh, we're gonna report her. But Instagram's probably easier to connect with. Yeah.
We don't like the narrative you have. It doesn't match up with ours. No need to listen. Block.
I yell at people though on videos. So if you want to watch me yell at people, come over to TikTok and watch me yell at people, because I think that's a good time.
As long as it's not me, I'm all right with it.
No, it's the anyways, I get myself in trouble.
That's all right. Mr. Andersen.
Yeah, Alexis, thank you so much. God, I love your passion. I really do. Passion is everything in this, you know, and I wish there was. I mean, we do have a lot of people out there with it, but man, you're the top. You're the top of my list on it. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. I am so happy to have met you. We'll have you on again sometime, and I hope you have just a great Christmas. And by the way, there's going to be somebody in your life very soon, I'm sure. Okay.
I mean, it's been 7 years. I'm okay. Like my picker's broken. I'm good. Like it's okay. The ones I pick are not the good ones. So let's just
Oh goodness.
Well, thank you, Alexis.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for all the work that you do. And if you guys ever need anything from, whatever, politically or not politically, whatever, just let me know.
Yep. Same here. If you ever need us up there, we can come up there.
Fight the good fight.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, please call Parents and Addicts in Need at 559-579-1551 or check us out online at painnonprofit.org. Follow us on social media at Pain Nonprofit. Please subscribe to the podcast and share with others wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. To donate, please click the link in the description and help us save more lives gripped by addiction.
This podcast contains the views and opinions of hosts and their guests to the show. The content here should not be taken as medical advice. The content here is for informational purposes only. And because each person is sharing their unique perspective, please consult your healthcare professional for any medical questions. Views and opinions expressed in the podcast and website are our own and do not represent that of our places of work. While we make every effort to ensure that the information we are sharing is accurate, we welcome any comments, suggestions, or correction of errors. Privacy is of the utmost importance to us. For those wishing anonymity, people, places, and scenarios mentioned in the podcast have been changed to protect confidentiality at the request of certain guests. This website or podcast should not be used in any legal capacity whatsoever, including but not limited to establishing standard of care in a legal sense or as a basis for expert witness testimony. No guarantee is given regarding the accuracy of any statements or opinions made on the podcast or website. In no way does listening, reading, emailing, or interacting on social media with our content establish a doctor-patient relationship. If you find any errors in any of the content of this podcast or blogs, please send a message through the contact page.